That's probably better. Hi, we should be live. Finally. Um, at least I think so. So, my excuses, and I currently have no viewers. Hello. Hi. Hi. We're on the internet. Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, everybody, try to tweet it out, get your friends, go on all your socials. It would be great. There are a lot of writers who really worked hard, and even though it's been a bit of a struggle, I am still happy that we are still doing the live stream, the charity live stream for Thankmas. So yes, I hope more people are showing up. I am going to quickly tweet out myself just so we get a little more people in here. So it was our plan to have more people on this stream. Unfortunately, because our friend group is very international, we've had to deal with some issues of power and internet access. I am doing it alone this year on stream, but of course I had help from some really great writers. Let's see. How do I tweet out the correct link? Live stream link. Ooh, well, I am going to rely on my tech people to do the link for me. I am only going to take 30 seconds to check why I am lagging a lot, at least in my view. If anybody is seeing dropped frames, could you please tell me in chat? In the internet, but yeah, that makes sense. Well, so thank you all for coming. I'm seeing that we have a little bit of people in the stream right now. Thank you all so much for showing up. Lower the bit rate. I have no idea what that means. I'm sorry. I am doing all this by myself today because internet and sickness and all kinds of things have conspired against us all. But we still have some very, very great stories for you. There's an audio lag. Okay. I am going to take 2 minutes to confer with our tech wizards to kind of make this happen. I am very sorry to go black again, but it is what it is, people. Hello, I should be back and it should be much better. Let me check as well. That does look a lot better. Thank you. So, as you all know, Thankmas is happening all over YouTube, and we have some wonderful stories that have been inspired by this year's benefactor, which is World Central Kitchen. And for this year, we decided to fit all of those stories into a larger overarching narrative. And the overarching narrative will be narrated by me. It was an intention to create different characters to go on a journey. However, that unfortunately fell through. But I still think that it will be very entertaining for everybody, and I hope you are going to enjoy it just as much as I do. Let's see. I am going to start here in just a bit for you, and I will explain. But I need to check something. Stream setting. I do not know how to get to the Hang on, people. I am so sorry. I am not very good at setting this up. I am much better at storytelling, I promise. That's what happens when the tech person gets sick. Not his fault, it's my fault, but you know. All right. You know what? I'm just going to start this. I'm going to continue this. And anything that comes up, if you are kind enough to let us know. And we will somehow make it go better. So, our story today is going to take place in a alternate universe. one where most things that you know do exist, but things can be a little bit different. And one of these things that is a bit different is that a there is a little bit of sci-fi involved. There is a little bit of fantasy involved. But the one thing that is always the same throughout all of the universes is that food is the one thing that unites people and builds community. And our story is going to take place in the capital city, which is very uniquely called Capital City. However, there is a huge disaster that struck Capital City. An earthquake has devastated most of the city. In Capital City is this universe's major branch of their world central kitchen. So whatever happens to the city, the people are certain that they will be well fed and taken care of. At least that was the idea. When the people moved to the central kitchen, expecting to be met with the smells and the sights of these heroic chefs effortlessly working, it's dark and it's quiet, and nobody really knows what is happening. The man who runs this kitchen, known as Angel, usually is the first to welcome people in, and nobody can find him. And a panic breaks out. People are just trying to find him. Is he caught in the rubble? What happened? And in a little while, they do find him. And he seems to be okay. Problem is, he doesn't remember who he is or what he stands for. He lost his goal in life, his purpose in life, and that's a real problem. Now, the sous chef of Angel, he made a plan. He's going to find the stories that unite and bring out and inspire the people of this city, because Angel is certainly not the only one to be inspired by food. So what he does is he grabs a notebook and a pen, and he sets out in search of the stories that inspire and unite the people of the capital city to become a community. And as he is walking through these streets that are devastated, buildings are in ruins, he comes upon a little table. And there's an older lady working to feed some people that she found on the street. The first thing he notices is the smells, the cumin and peppers. And as he thinks that he found his very first story, he pulls up to this table and asks a lady why she would stand here in this little, what is left of a kitchen, trying to feed everybody around her. And she looks and she says, "Oh, of course. We need to help each other with food because you need food to live, but it's much, much more than that. So the sous chef takes out his pen and he is going to take down the story of this very brave young woman, well, middle-aged woman.
I did not learn to cook as a girl. Gloria Steinem and Jane Fonda had replaced Betty Crocker and Donna Reed, who had reared my mother when I was born in 1971. I was taught my place in the world was not the kitchen where my mother's generation was told to dwell. We'd come a long way, baby, proclaimed the Virginia Slim ads, sprinkled between articles about sex and the single lady in any monthly cosmopolitan. The world was my oyster, and the oyster was not something for me to prepare. I've taken full advantage of this oyster, leading a life more reminiscent of Mary Tyler Moore than June Cleaver. This trajectory has propelled me to travel, to set forth into the
I think something went wrong. We didn't see the whole video, did we?
503 error.
503 error?
503. We have a 503 error.
What is that?
We had a 503 error.
I think something went wrong. We didn't see the whole video, did we?
503 error.
Okay. I have no idea what that is. We're going to just try again.
Yeah.
We're going to try this again.
I did not learn to cook as a girl. Gloria Steinem and Jane Fonda had replaced Betty Crocker and Donna Reed, who had reared my mother when I was born in 1971. I was taught my place in the world was not the kitchen where my mother's generation was told to dwell. We'd come a long way, baby, proclaimed the Virginia Slim ads, sprinkled between articles about sex and the single lady in any monthly cosmopolitan. The world was my oyster, and the oyster was not something for me to prepare. I've taken full advantage of this oyster, leading a life more reminiscent of Mary Tyler Moore than June Cleaver. This trajectory has propelled me to travel, to set forth into this world to roam as a woman alone. This path has shown me the importance of a woman striving for independence, yet it has taught me something else. I've learned what food can do as I've strolled through this world, compliments of the women who came before me. Please have a seat at my table and allow me to share. San Miguel de Allende, a pueblo north of Mexico City, known for expats and art, is where I landed when I first set sail for the first time. I read that it was safe, which is an important word for a woman that travels, so I booked the ticket. I was petrified about how to navigate amongst unfamiliar people. This fear subsided when a woman my age stopped me in the hostel lobby and asked, "Have you been to Andy's Pastor taco cart down the street from the biblioteca?" She grabbed my arm and led me there before I could nod my head no. Andy's consisted of a pop-up tent and fold-out tables. Men toiled behind these tables next to vertical spits called trompos. The men sheared from these columns thin strips of pork marinated overnight in guajillo chilies, orange juices, lime juices, onions, cinnamons, peppers, Mexican oreganos, cumins, and salts. This woman, who'd been a stranger, became my best friend when I took my first bite. We met up every night in the hostel lobby after that, pushed through the crowds of unfamiliar people I had feared, all of us after one more taste of those tacos de pastor at Andy's. The taste San Miguel de Allende left on my lips made me hungry for more. So I jumped at the chance a few years later to attend another friend's wedding in Agra, India. The celebration lasted 5 days, which blurred together as one. Marigolds, hennaed hands, dancing fiends, and tables of food I'd never seen. Dals made of curried lentils, paneers spiced with garam masalas, samosas stuffed with corianders and mints. Mexico was just foreplay as I downed cup after cup of chai tea. Indian food was the whole enchilada for me as I bounced with the wedding party of all shapes, shades, and sizes to Bollywood's best beats. I was the one in love on the next journey I took. We found cheap tickets to Costa Rica, so we went for some tropical romance. We found just that when the rowboat we'd caught from the tourist-packed town of Waco washed up on the sands of Playa de Montezuma. A dreadlocked Rastafarian strolled from the shack that sat within a few feet of where our boat landed to help us with our bags. We asked him where the local hostel was. He smiled big and pointed to the shack. My love and I spent the next few days in hammocks, dining on whatever the Rasta man would choose to feed his guests. One night, he put a rice dish in the center of the table where the hostel guests ate, family style, and announced, "This is gallo pinto, the taste of my country." Everyone at the table had a taste of these rice and beans, fused with garlic, onion, bell pepper, and cilantro. I had to ask about the tangy yet sweet yet spicy sauce that made the dish. The Rasta smiled big again and said, "That is Lozano sauce. What makes it so good is the molasses." My love and I ate seconds, enjoying pura vida, pure life. My love and I's next excursion was a Mediterranean cruise. I swore I'd never travel so bougie, but my love wasn't well. A doctor is mandatory on a ship, so we set sail. Every meal a distinct memory. The red wine aftertaste of the beef bourguignon, which I can't pronounce, the cheese and mustards of a French souffle, the cheeselessness of pizza in Rome shocked us, as did the million little dishes of tapas as we strolled down La Rambla in Barcelona. I could eat
I am not exactly sure that went exactly the way we planned. No, yeah, I realized. Thank you. Unfortunately, I don't think we saw the end of that video. And I have no idea what's going on because from my side, everything is good. Um, I don't even know how to continue it. Yeah. The internet is not helping me today. I am so sorry. It's such a great story, and it just pains me that it cuts out. I don't know how to make this in a way that we can continue from where we left off. I'm going to try. I'm sorry, people. Let's see.
And slaughtered, while the women tended beef bourguignon, which I can't pronounce. The chief wasn't well. A doctor is mandatory on a ship, so we set sail. Every meal a distinct memory. The red wine aftertaste of the beef bourguignon, which I can't pronounce. The cheese and mustards of a French souffle. The cheeselessness of pizza in Rome shocked us, as did the million little dishes of tapas as we strolled down La Rambla in Barcelona. I could eat like this forever, my love exclaimed, as we sampled the cruise's chocolate buffet, featuring anything one could think of to make with a cocoa bean. Life was good. My love died before our next trip I planned as a Christmas gift. Israel was where he had always wanted to go. I went alone instead. The first night, I dined in Tel Aviv on little dishes reminiscent of Barcelona. No one to reminisce with, I watched the Mediterranean Sea once we'd sailed. I spread ashes from Haifa to Masada over the next week. I was offered food wherever I went, introduced to the cumin, the corianders, the falafels, the black olives, the dates that mark Israeli cuisine. I didn't want to leave this country so perfect for a grief-stricken grazer like me. I took a job outside the United States after this, signed a contract to teach in Bolivia 6 months after my love's death. I'd buy an empanada with powdered sugar from the school's cafeteria every morning and pretend it was the beignets I ate with my love in France. I went to family churrascos on Sunday where the men prepared the cattle they had raised and slaughtered, while the women tended to the rest. I drank too much Paseña, the nationally subsidized beer. I was amazed at how many Bolivian meals came with rice and potatoes. Talk about carbos. But I didn't know how to say this in the Spanish tongue they spoke. I traveled myself through grief in South America, scarfing down papas de hurricanas in Peru, gorging on the shrimp in Brazil that swam in the coconut milks of a maqueque sauce, binging on a bread so moist in Asuncion that the locals called it sopa de Paraguaya. These foods healed me. I returned to the United States. I stood in my own kitchen, a place I was unfamiliar with as a youth. However, I am now a woman in late middle age. I've changed in my journey from there to here. Betty Crocker played no part in this transformation, but the ability to eat with so many different types of people did. These people taught me how to cook. Each place I've tasted has become a part of me. Each place is now an ingredient in what makes up my flavor. This flavor is a buffet of sensitivities. Because what I've learned as I've roamed is the world is not just an oyster. It is a buffet. It is a king's table buffet. Each morsel I've sampled has brought me into the loving fellowship with others. No matter what gender, race, class, sexual orientation, culture, language, etc., etc. This would not have happened if women, like Steinem and Fonda, had not paved an alternate road for women who wished to roam, rather than take care of a man's home. This road has shown me that the kitchen is not a woman's place. It is the world's.
So that does sound like finally we got the whole story. I am so happy. Of course, all of these stories will be individually uploaded to YouTube if you ever want to read it or hear it without interruptions, without the internet just destroying everything. They are there for you tomorrow. Also, I want to remind everybody we are doing this for charity. We are trying to collect money for the World Central Kitchen. They are a great organization that ensure everybody gets good food wherever disaster strikes, whether that be natural or humanitarian or man-made disasters like wars. They're on the ground in the Ukraine at the moment. They are everywhere that's been needed. They are a great organization. One of the great things that they do is they use local source. So not only is it made by the people there, the food that they actually want there, it's also can be a kickstart for devastated economies. So this is a great charity, a great organization. I would ask you all to follow the link in the description and donate. Even $1 will help. So back to the story that we were telling with all of us. After the sous chef hears this story about how food could help such a personal sadness of losing your lover, the love of your life, but then being saved by these wonderful tastes. And he's had it all written down. He thanks the woman and he continues his trek looking everywhere for more of these stories, because he starts to realize that they are everywhere and everyone has at least some uplifting thing to tell about food and the community food brings, and how important food is, not just because you need food to live, but you need the comfort and the hope that brings a good meal. As he is walking by, he notices a little dog stuck between some rubble, and he starts to rush over and help this dog out beneath this big pile of wood that has just kept it there. And as he's working, another woman comes in and helps him. And the sous chef doesn't even need to ask. This woman is just starting to talk about how important pets are, how important it is for them to have a home and to not be forgotten. And in the end, the sous chef writes the story down because it all helps in creation of the community.
He lay in the middle of the road, shivering from the intense cold. Darius slows the car down to a stroll. Serena opens the door, tightens the feel of her winter coat around her, and rushes to scoop up the precious thing into her arms. It is a cold, late autumn night. She and Darius had just left a charity event thrown by her company, a nonprofit organization built on the premise of revitalizing their city and finding homes for stray dogs and cats. What were the chances they would land upon a chocolate Cocker Spaniel Labrador mix in the middle of the road on their drive back home? She stares into its eyes, rolls it over onto its back to check its gender. Male. She whispers to the drenched ball of fur, Fate. I think we'll call you Fate. She runs towards their car door, pulls the door open, and quickly slides onto the heated seat. Darius is thumping his ashy thumbs on the steering wheel. He stares at her intently and says, "Who could leave such a sweet baby to fend for itself out here in all this?" His hands flail dramatically in front of him. I named him Fate. I think he will be a great addition to our family, Darius. Sebastian and Nora will fall in love with him. They truly will. Darius and Serena had a 2-year-old golden doodle and a 4-year-old Maine Coon cat at home. Both were rescues. Sebastian, the golden doodle, had been found in a ditch 3 miles away from their home on a sunny July morning. Nora, the Maine Coon, had been found running feverishly out of a burning shed 1 mile away from their church. Their home had been a quiet, welcoming spot for both animals, and now it will be one for Fate, too. As they pull into the driveway, Serena towel dries Fate with one of the heavy towels the couple keeps in their car as part of their emergency kit. The little thing moves gingerly in her care as if to signal he understands what is going on. She scoops him up and places a gentle kiss on his snout. Inside their home, Sebastian sits with Nora in their living room. His fluffy bottom faces the fireplace. Nora nestles alongside his chest, sleeping to the sound of his heartbeat.
And we're back. Did we actually get the whole story? I am not 100%. Can somebody confirm? Oh, this is just so sad.
Okay,
The internet.
I am sorry. I am so sorry. I feel so sad for all of the amazing stories that all of these peoples have made. I am genuinely upset because of how the internet on this island is. It is coming in the way of this
Yeah.
art, and it's for a good cause. Okay, I'll leave and continue to look at the chat. Okay, because I'm a little bit upset.
Yeah. We started late, there were internet issues, and I have been continuing. Unfortunately, you know what? I'm just going to give it one more try. If it turns out that it's just not doable today because of reasons beyond our control, then we are for sure going to redo this with a little bit more planning. And I know that for Thankmas, the efforts, it is usually still active for a week or two after the big streaming effort all over YouTube. So if it turns out that we just cannot get these stories running the way they should, then maybe we'll have to just give in and say we're going to release them individually and we're going to redo a stream when it's a little bit more settled, and maybe we can get some more people joining in. That would be great. It would be much more fun. So it's been a disaster day. Fitting, because I was trying to tell a disaster story, but there's always hope. There's always hope that it turns out better than it was. So let's just try it one more time, and hopefully everything will just go smoothly from here on out.
He lay in the middle of the road, shivering from the intense cold. Darius slows the car down to a stroll. Serena opens the door, tightens the feel of her winter coat around her, and rushes to scoop up the precious thing into her arms. It is a cold, late autumn night. She and Darius had just left a charity event thrown by her company, a nonprofit organization built on the premise of revitalizing their city and finding homes for stray dogs and cats. What were the chances they would land upon a chocolate Cocker Spaniel Labrador mix in the middle of the road on their drive back home? She stares into its eyes, rolls it over onto its back to check its gender. Male. She whispers to the drenched ball of fur, Fate. I think we'll call you Fate. She runs towards their car door, pulls the door open, and quickly slides onto the heated seat. Darius is thumping his ashy thumbs on the steering wheel. He stares at her intently and says, "Who could leave such a sweet baby to fend for itself out here in all this?" His hands flail dramatically in front of him. I named him Fate. I think he will be a great addition to our family, Darius. Sebastian and Nora will fall in love with him. They truly will. Darius and Serena had a 2-year-old golden doodle and a 4-year-old Maine Coon cat at home. Both were rescues. Sebastian, the golden doodle, had been found in a ditch 3 miles away from their home on a sunny July morning. Nora, the Maine Coon, had been found running feverishly out of a burning shed 1 mile away from their church. Their home had been a quiet, welcoming spot for both animals, and now it will be one for Fate, too. As they pull into the driveway, Serena towel dries Fate with one of the heavy towels the couple keeps in their car as part of their emergency kit. The little